This is my Minecraft hardcore world, where for an entire year I've been building a Lord of the Rings inspired dwarven mega city. And how I have survived, I have no idea. You will be missed. However, heading into year number 2, I would love it if you would maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the community and helping us out on our road to possibly one day hitting our dream of hitting 100,000 subscribers. With that said, let's jump into the video. Well, it's Tuesday the 7th, so let's see what shenanigans we can get up to today. I do want to say that it has been a heck of a while since I've actually loaded into this game, so I'm a little bit bamboozled as to what we were actually up to last time we were playing. In which, come to think of it, we were actually mining ancient debris. I actually remember we were doing this on a live stream now that I think about it. And I definitely have PTSD from the comment section from people telling me to smelt the nether gold ore, as you get ingots from that rather than using the pickaxe to get the nuggets from it. So yeah, we'll let that do its thing, I think. I actually completely forgot just how grand this hall actually is, and I am absolutely loving this hallway. I definitely wish I had made this even bigger, but considering it took me like 3 episodes to finish, I think it's fine how it is. But my goal in this episode is to hopefully have the ultimate start to 2025 in our dwarven hardcore world, where we'll have a quick repair of the tools, and that should be 1 pickaxe onto the second. This seems like an easier way to finish things up, I think. So jumping into our first project of 2025, I actually want to go ahead and finally do it. You guys have been nagging me for the longest time to make a grow lichen farm, as it is a way to kind of make the place look a little bit more rustic. It adds a bit of light, but more importantly, I can actually use it for grading. Crafting up a few blocks real quickly for an example. We can actually improve our stone to grass blend by going stone, andesite, cobble, mossy cobble, then we can put down moss, and then we can put down grass, but there's a gap here because we can take some shears and head into the wild and get some grow lichen. Heading back down, we can actually go ahead and place down a moss block. If we actually add grow lichen onto the top of here, from a distance, it actually looks more like a kind of like a blend between the grey and the green. And then obviously the moss underneath shows through, and it actually adds the perfect middle ground between the mossy cobblestone and the actual moss block. So in order to build this, we are going to need a few things, so we need to head back to the old base. I suppose we can go ahead and grab ourselves a chest and some hoppers. It's genuinely been that long since I've been in this game that I couldn't remember the dispenser recipe. That's really embarrassing. We're also going to need all the bones we can get. And with all that gathered, we can head back to our main city area, in which I think I need a better name for this place, because technically speaking, the whole thing is the main city area. This is just like the cavern area of the city. The whole underground building is a city. So yeah. In which I'm kind of sat looking around thinking, where am I going to build this? And then I realized we have the perfect building. But either way, inside this house is a perfect place to go ahead and quickly throw this together. You place down the storage, hopper into said storage, put an observer facing down, put one underneath facing up. I forgot one tiny ingredient, bear with me. New year, old me apparently, because no matter what year it is, apparently I'm still just as bad at planning builds where I completely forget the little resources that I need to actually get stuff done, so no change there. Place down the sticky piston so that it attaches to this observer here. All you have to do is actually just go ahead and farm the grow lichen off this bottom layer, but if I just sit here and farm this for a little bit, you may start to notice a problem, which looks a little bit something like this. Yeah, just 9 stacks almost of grow lichen uses up an entire shears as well as an entire 9 stack of bone meal. With the scale of this hall that I'm actually planning to build and the size of the mountain that we're building outside, we're going to need more than 9 stacks. In fact, we're probably going to need more than 9 double chests full of grow lichen. The shears part is really easy because we actually have way more than enough iron now with a working iron farm to just build them whenever we need them, but we can also go ahead and throw unbreaking on there as well as efficiency to actually speed up farming the liking. The real issue here is looking in our mob loot chest. We are completely out of bones, so we have no way of basically making any more bone meal in our world. So we're going to have to build a bone meal farm, where we run back to our main open cavern area. We really need to name this place, guys. Leave a name down in the comments and we'll choose a cool name for this place. But now that we're here, we need to go ahead and build a new building, a bit like the lichen farm. We need one that's going to house our bone meal farm. And I'm looking at this little outcrop here, and I have the perfect idea for what I want to do for this next building in our dwarven city. So, in order to get started, I first want to go ahead and build a stone base. So, we'll place down a double chest where we can go ahead and just temporarily put all the materials that we need, as we're going to have to go and gather a few more bits and bobs in the form of cobblestone. So I've come down to the area that we were mining out just before the holidays to continue mining it out and gather up some cobble. Well, we made a little bit of a dent, at least. Still got, you know, millions of blocks to go, but anyway, we move on. Now, I don't know if I'm going to change my idea towards this, but my thinking is that we actually want to go ahead and build it up from the ground, at least this ground, by about 3 or 4 blocks, and build like a bit of a rocky outcrop type thing that this whole building sits on. So I want to raise it a little bit, add a little bit of depth, and I think in order to do this, we bring the actual rocky outcrop. I'm kind of just doing a very quick outline here. I'm planning this as I go. This isn't really like the best interpretation. We're just very quickly going to go ahead and do a second layer here. Then going around and adding in a third layer. Then I think I actually am going to finish off by filling in the actual blocks. Normally I wouldn't. I'd kind of just ignore this little bit. But I do think I actually want to try and help prevent mob spawns and stuff in my actual world moving forward to help with performance. So I think by filling it in, it's only going to help us in like enabling or disabling mob spawns in the little caverns and little holes that we don't really need in our world. Yeah, looking good. We need to detail this a little bit and add a little bit of life to the rock and make it look a little bit more rugged, but it works for what it needs to be. But we jump forward in time and it's now the 8th of January, so let's get to work in building up this area. And my goal here is to try and blend this little rocky outcrop in and kind of add in a blend of andesite and cobblestone to make it look a little bit rough, a little bit treaded on, and make it just look not so clean. So I'm starting off the build by basically making a very simple outline of where I actually want the inside of the building to lay, which as you can see is starting to take a little bit of shape, and you can start to see how I'm actually doing this. I want it to kind of protrude out of the wall of the cave, making it look as if the dwarves actually carved this house and the base foundations out of the actual stone in the cave, and then we're going to kind of build and carve on top of it to kind of decorate it and add some je ne sais quoi. So jumping straight in, it proceeded to take us 1 hour to build this building. My only regret is that I didn't actually fully integrate it into the cavern. I wish I had made more of an effort to make it feel as if it was a natural stone pillar in the stone cavern originally that had been carved out. That's one of the goals for the buildings in here, is I want every building to make it feel as if it's naturally a part of the cavern that's been like carved out. So jumping outside, I actually finished off this day's gaming session by doing an impromptu live stream, which reminded me to very quickly discuss something that's quite important, in that I have hundreds if not thousands of hours of mining and building yet to do on both the mountain and mining out the area in our cavern, which means that I am going to be doing a lot more live streams over on my Twitch channel. So this is just your friendly reminder to go and drop in a follow if you want to catch me live, hang out and have a good laugh. However, we jump to the next day. So crafting a very temporary staircase before we actually make one inside, head round for some glass, which we can purchase from this fine fellow over here, and maybe over here too? Yes, thank you for your fine glassware. Okay, so it turns out my brain can't function after I've done a full day at work because I completely misinterpret the actual size of the farm again, so I'm tearing it all down because I can't actually go back to the way that I wanted to do it, and we're gonna start this one again. I knew my maths wasn't quite adding up somewhere, but we got there in the end. And I'm letting my lazy streak kind of win again by testing to see if I actually need to make every single block a solid water block, or if I can just get away with doing this top block and letting it run down and then hoping that the kelp turns it into a solid block. But we'll find out very shortly. Which, judging by the way that this is functioning, I think we actually need to make every single block a solid water block, because what should be happening is they should be flying up to the top. But it's not, so yeah. So I got to work placing down buckets, which took a very, very, very quick 20 minutes. Okay, we are absolutely done. Wait, we have fishes? Okay, I hope that doesn't interfere with the farm. I don't think it should do, but we are now done and dusted, so we can actually go ahead and do a very quick test. And let's go ahead, start a quick timer, and just see how much we can actually gain in 15 minutes. In which I may as well fill my time doing something, right? Rather than just sitting around waiting for 15 minutes. So we'll just jump down here and keep mining out the area, I suppose. Well, that's about 15 minutes, so let's take a look at our wares. We got 40 in here, and over here we should have, wait, 22? That's like half of what the other one got. But we can now turn our attention to the last element that we need to make this work by making a couple of composters. We just need about 4 of these bad boys. As placing these down right here, we can actually go ahead and make a very basic version of a bone meal farm. Actually, you know what? I'm actually thinking we can speed this up by funneling bone meal into a single thing like this. Oh, we've literally got 1 bone meal in 15 minutes. We may need to rethink this, and the last hour and a half that we've put into making this may have been a slight mistake. Oh, apparently it was 4 bone meal because I accidentally didn't put this going into a chest, so yeah, my bad. But yeah, 16 bone meal an hour, that's not gonna cut it, I'm afraid. So I am gonna change up the design. So let's jump into a quick time lapse, change up the design, and try something else. We've now got a much better farm going because all we have to do is just take this 1 bone block out. In fact, that just turned to 2 real quickly, and then we can actually go ahead and get 18 bone meal there. So this farm is actually super, super fast now that it's fully functioning. And the best part about it, all we have to do is just turn it off like this whenever we're going to leave our base, and it shouldn't lag our world, because the last thing you want to do is turn this off when you unload the chunks, because apparently that causes issues. And turn on our bone meal farm, as we're going to have to leave this running for a little bit of time, but we're going to need to farm some bone meal. So I thought in the meantime we'd head up here, and I thought I'd also go ahead and just Siri, set a timer for 1 hour. And there we are. So 1 hour, let's get some stone mined out and continue building up this cabin area and beginning to shape it some more. Oh, my wrist is vibrating. Oh, we're done. 1 hour's up. And it seems like my pickaxe was saved by the bell, because I was completely zoned out there, and it looks like my pickaxe was about to go boom. So let's head back up into our farm area. Well, it's still running, which is always good. But what are the fruits of the farm's labor? How much are we in profit? Ooh, almost 2 stacks of bone blocks. That's incredible. So if we head over to the iron factory and with some shears, we can actually go ahead and see that we've completely managed to get many stacks of bone meal. In fact, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 16 and a bit stacks of bone meal in 1 hour. That is incredible. So we can load her up into our little farm area. Place down 1 glow lichen. Anyway, let's go ahead and just grab everything that we've just put in the chest back out of the chest. Quick pit stop for some food. And a pit stop to repair the tools that we almost broke and lost forever. We also need to stock up on our cobbled deep slate before we move on. And grab some turf. And then use the most unorthodox way to farm moss blocks instead of just, you know, funneling the hoppers into a chest. I can just do this instead. But we can head outside because that's where we're actually moving on to now. We need to tower up right next to our entranceway and create a little bit of a platform here. And we need to just go and grab some more dirt. But it's weird that once upon a time we were actually building this without an elytra, and my MLG bucket game was not on point, and we didn't have feather falling on our shoes. And I actually almost died falling off the top of this on episode number 1. I don't remember if I ever told you guys that, but yeah, little Easter egg for you there. Not like nowadays where we can just fly down, grab the dirt that we need, then fly back up. Easy peasy. But that should about do. But I should probably go ahead at this point and quickly explain why we've actually been working towards this point. One thing I've never quite been happy about since episode 1 a year ago is I built this on top of the entranceway as a way to make it look as if the entranceway had been carved into the cliff. Not to mention, it looks a little bit flat. There's no texturing going on yet, there's no detail, there's no depth to it. And one thing that I've actually sort of changed my mind on over the last couple of months is I've been thinking that the wall needs to look like it's been kind of carved out, but I feel like there should be a lip that comes out and extrudes out a little bit at the top of the carved out wall where water would kind of come down and drip over and the moss would kind of grow and the grass would grow. And I just generally feel like we need to add a bit more grass and greenery around this area anyway to make it look a little bit more realistic. So the idea here is to just kind of mix and match a little bit of basalt and a little bit of deep slate underneath to make it feel and seem like there's a bit of a shadow going on underneath. I feel like we need to kind of add some darker blocks, which is going to help add a sense of shadow and a sense of depth to the overhanging cliff edge. The goal is to also try and stagger these blocks a little bit as well. We don't want to make it look too uniform and kind of look like it's all natural. You want to make it try and aim to make it look like water has also naturally carved certain areas away more than others. So it's gonna be a little bit of a tricky game, but it's about balance and just keep trying and removing and adding blocks where we need them until we kind of figure this out and get this right. Possibly even using the occasional slab as well to help actually add even more depth between the actual individual blocks, which I think will just add a little bit of something to the overall build here. You can also start throwing in the occasional cobblestone and start making it feel like it's starting to just transition, and what this will look like from a distance, I'm hoping, is as if the grass is just starting to grow sort of underneath the curb, just as if the moss has been growing just a bit too long. Gonna also throw down a few cobbled staircases in there just to kind of help accentuate the different levels and details. Then as we get round to the top, we can kind of be a little bit less anal about the blending and kind of just keep it more straight to the point with just using our stereotypical technique where we just count along a number of blocks, going no longer than 7 but no shorter than 3, and just build out the actual platform. Now our next move is to then start blending the grass back into the stone which is where earlier on in the video where we were talking about the blending method that we were going for with the stone to grass comes back into play again. I really should have brought some andesite with me. I feel like it needs a little bit more work on the top half here, but we'll go ahead and tear down the little platform that we built. Quick nip back to bed so we can go for the grand reveal in daylight. And I've turned shaders off for the grand reveal just so we can get a truer sense of what this is gonna look like. And if we head up into the air with the grand reveal... Oh yes, that is getting there. That is looking like we've made some progress on the shading. I mean, oh boy, even with shaders, it's looking damn good. But just to give you guys a little bit of context as to just how far we've actually come in this year, this is what my texturing looked like a year ago when I first began this world. My skills have come on way better from this to this. And it might only seem like a small transition right now, but trust me, when we apply this technique to the entire mountain and we get to build it up a lot more, this is going to look absolutely incredible. I mentioned it a few episodes back, but one of the things that I wanted to achieve is to hide our very first OG base that we built all the way back in episode 1. I wanted you guys to have something that was a little bit secret for the OGs that you guys would know about but nobody else would, that was newer to the series. So we're actually going to go ahead and design a boulder that's going to hide our original base, and we'll never uncover it again. Nobody will ever know that it's here. I will never reference it again. It is just this one time where you guys are actually getting to know a little bit of secret lore that's going into the outside design of this area. Well, I think the shape needs a little bit of work and some of the blocks need replacing, as I think I've put a bit too much tuff down, but overall it's not looking too bad. I also need to blend it into the floor a little bit with some more cobblestone and kind of make it, you know, look like it's actually part of the world. But this whole area kind of needs texturing anyway, so we've got a long way to go yet. However, and that's about it for this week, guys. I'm really sorry that we didn't get more done in this episode. Unfortunately, my job has absolutely hammered me down this week. I am working 7 days full time at the moment at work, just because we are so busy and run down with like all of the Christmas orders. But nonetheless, I really hope you enjoyed the video and really hope you enjoyed the series so far. You've got all of last year's videos. If you haven't seen them already, go and give them a watch as we head into year number 2. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you liked it enough to maybe hit that like button and the subscribe button and follow along with the journey. But I'll see you next week, 6 PM roughly GMT UK time, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.